All right, let's do this. The Santa Blanca Cocaine Superhighway. Every year, more than 350 tons of coke leaves Bolivia, reaching about 20 million users worldwide. That means they're pulling in an average of $2 billion a week. How do they do it? 3 little words. Air, land, sea. All coordinated by the head of smuggling, Nidia Flores, La Reina de Belleza, the beauty queen, and her right-hand man, the ravishing, the bewitching, the delectable El Boquita. Ouch. Somebody get that guy a Band-Aid. The problem is, you see these guys on the news, you see decapitations, you see monsters, but you don't see the whole picture. These people are fucking geniuses. Case in point, you see tits, Nidia Flores sees opportunity. You see scrap metal, Nidia Flores sees submarines. You see holy water, Nidia Flores sees liquid cocaine. Because Nidia Flores is a fucking genius. You really want to shut down the cocaine superhighway? Hit the drugs, hit the money, then hit the beauty queen.
Here's a lesson in cocaineonomics. The biggest mistake most people make is focusing solely on the product. Claro, you need something to sell, but that's not where you make the money.
1 kilo of coca leaves costs about $1.50. It takes 400 kilos of coca leaves to make 1 kilo of cocaine. Even when turned into cocaine base, a kilo is only worth $1,200 in Bolivia.
However, every time you cross a border, the value increases.
Once we reach Colombia, it's already $2,200. We hit southern Mexico, $12,000. Cross the border into Texas, $20,000. New York City, our $1,200 investment is now worth $35,000. Paris, London, $68,000 to $74,000.
It's a pipeline that carries the product to the people that need it. Sustenance for the thirsty. Once in place, the pipeline feeds itself.
Workers, vehicles, wages, bribes.
But when there's a clog in the pipe...
They took out another shipment. We lost 7 tons last week.
4 planes the week before?
the water backs up.
There's too much surplus. We can't keep it secure.
My men are selling to each other.
We can't pay people if they're not moving product.
They're kidnapping civilians for ransom money.
Too much water.
We have to take Valeria and go.
He'll kill us before we leave the country.
Then what's the answer?
When I find it, I'll let you know.
And you drown. Nidia finally had the answer to her problems.
A convoy.
The investors in Mexico wanted their money. This whole time she had been trying to sneak it out to them.
Why sneak when we can force it through? Reinforced armor, heavily armed, multiple trucks, helicopter patrols, carrying $17 billion.
Mira, you can't be serious. If we lose that money, it's over. But when we're killed, what happens to Valeria?
There is no other way.
No, Reina, we're not doing it.
Ay, Boquita, corazón. I'm not asking. I'm telling.
And who do you expect to lead this convoy?
You're the only man I trust with something this important.
But what if I don't make it back?
I would never let that happen.
No more excuses. We want our fucking money ahora.
Nidia will take care of this.
Sueño, do we need to make a change here?
Nidia has been one of our best people for years.
Maybe too many. Maybe she's lost her edge.
Over time, I had seen many buchones come and go. When you're king, you learn to lose a few knights. But Nidia Flores was different. I had taken her under my wing from a young age. She was the closest thing I would ever have to a daughter. She was my reina. If I fed her to the wolves, a part of me would die with her. You'll get your money, se lo juro. I guarantee it.
Don't make us regret this. Sostén tu palabra.
For Santísima Muerte so loved the Santa Blanca cartel that she gave us her only begotten daughter, that whoever believeth in her should not perish, but have everlasting life. Many years ago, We were in trouble, en la desesperación, on the verge of extinction, being torn to pieces by the snakes and ratas. I believed that hope was lost, that it was too late for us. Era el fin. But just when I was ready to give up, it happened. Nidia Flores came forth, known to us as La Reina de Belleza, the Beauty Queen. And with her, she brought prosperity, wealth, and retribution. We feel her charity, su amor, deep in our hearts. As she continues to spread her gospel across the world, to every corner of the globe, praise to Saint Nydia, Queen of Queens, Reina de Reinas, Goddess among mongrels. My trafficking network was dismantled. No more cocaine came in. No more money went out. The drugs that remained lay there wrapped in cellophane, rotting away, becoming worthless. My men wondered where their next payout was going to come from. I had spent years building these routes. Billions of dollars in manpower, transportation, relationships, all gone. Including the Beauty Queen. I gave Nidia Flores everything, and she paid me back by running like a coward, instead of dying like royalty. Now she would spend the rest of her life serving the Americans. She killed her child's father for nothing. Isn't it amazing? You remove a few buchones, and the machine falls to pieces. Nidia Flores was in trouble, and she knew it. It wasn't just the drugs that were being attacked. It was the money, la bronca. Money that was supposed to have gone to our investors in Mexico, and never made it.
What are you gonna do?
No excuses, no rationalizations, no nothing. Nidia knew she had to find the solution, before the solution found her. The Beauty Queen failed. In total, she lost more than $17 billion. Nidia knew she was in danger. She needed more time. She needed someone to blame. She needed to make a sacrifice.
I'm so sorry, baby. For you, mi rey.
But it wasn't enough. You fucked up, mi reina. I gave her a head start. Because I loved La Reina de Belleza. But in Bolivia, love doesn't get you very far. What's his name?
He's a doll, Tío. He doesn't have one. You have to be alive to have a name.
See, I imagine that's true. Nidia, mi reina.
Yes, mi rey.
You know this expression. I love you more than life.
Claro, of course.
I love you, my queen. But not more than life.
This is El Way. Real name, Pedro Gil. And I know the first question you're asking. What the fuck happened to him? You know what pyrolusite is, right? Yeah, neither did I. Pyrolusite, key syllable pyro, by the way, is the shit they mine in Villa Verde province to turn coca leaves into high-quality cocaine. So what, you ask? Elway's father was a miner. His grandfather was a miner. His grandfather's father was a miner. Basically, Elway didn't have many options until El Boquita came along.
You wanna make some real money?
Turns out he wanted to make some real money. Turns out, in fact, he was ambitious. Elway wanted to improve pyrolusite to produce the best cocaine the world has ever seen. Ever hear the expression, "it blew up in his face"? According to our sources, Elway is a generally affable guy. Good to his workers, cool with Unidad. Just don't ever, ever make a joke about his face.
And in our top story tonight, bloody riots have broken out in the streets between local cocaleros and miners originally hailing from Barbechos. According to police reports, the miners, who are working in the private pyrolusite mine set up by Santa Blanca, are notorious locally for their heavy drinking and questionable social interactions with women. Tensions rose to a fevered pitch today when one of the miners threw a stick of dynamite into a local lake. When asked why he done such a thing, the man pointed to the pacu floating toward the shore, laughed and said, "Fishing." It was at this point that a group of local fishermen decided to complain directly to the man, using their fists to deliver their primary complaint.
I hate to bother you about this shit, Elway. I know you're busy as hell.
Oh, hey, Marcus, forget it, wey. It's nada. What do you need?
I need more of the precursor chemicals we're using to refine the cocaine. I thought my supplier with Via B gas was cool, but the past few weeks, the man is not playing me straight. Can you get your hands on some of this shit for me?
Claro, Marcus. I can help you out, but hey, you gonna owe me.
You don't gotta tell me I owe you. Thanks, man.
Just let me know if you want me to visit your cabro on the Via B gas, or if this thing between you and me is gonna be a regular thing, okay? Oye, viejo. I got this problem I'm thinking maybe you can help me with.
Anyway, ¿cuál es problema? What's the problem?
These pinche cabrones in the mining collective, they're giving me headaches about pay rates and hours. I already got those mines safer than they ever been. You know these guys. I want you to, what you call it? Mediate.
Bolivian miners are proud people. Is there perhaps some way to raise their pay? Just a few cents. To satisfy their pride.
People think I'm the funny one around here. But that's only because they don't know you.
You must give them something. Your monopoly will be worthless if the miners don't dig.
Fuck makes you think we need Bolivian miners? It's a fucking global economy, pendejo. We can get some Brazilians up in these mines before anybody even realizes your mining collective is gone.
Tranquilo, Elway, tranquilo. I am friends with many of these men. I will talk to them. We will sort this out. I will make them understand that the agreement cannot change.
Marcus Jensen majored in chemistry because that's where the steady careers were. Job security, health benefits, 2 weeks vacation, 401k. And best of all, people were hiring. Marcus got recruited right out of grad school by La Gringa. Shelter guy that he was, thought he was getting a job with the SB Corporation, a multinational pharmaceutical company based in Bolivia, which, of course, it is. He just didn't realize what the product was. But when he finally figured it out, he decided it didn't really matter. He's making more in 1 month than his friends make in 5 years. And best of all, chicks. So many chicks. Almost as important, for the first time in his life, he's getting respect. La Gringa stationed Marcus at the Chemical Institute in Libertad Province. Over the past 3 years, he's been teaching cartel members how to produce high-quality cocaine. True, most of these idiots never made it past the 2nd grade, but it appears they finally found a subject they're passionate about. As for Marcus, his rationalization is...
Look, someone's gonna make the cocaine, someone's gonna make the money. It might as well be me, right?
You are right, Marcus, just not for much longer.
You gotta help me me out, hombre. Sueño's getting impatient. But there's not enough time to cook the cocaine.
Hell you want me to do about it? It's your ass.
If I can make the quota, he sends me on a trip to that huevón el pozolero. Estoy muerto. I get torn into human soup. Help me make the coke that I have into more coke.
You asking me to cheat El Sueño? Cause that's what it sounds like, man. I helped you cheat El Sueño, you and me both end up human soup. Fuck you for asking me.
I'm asking because this is all your goddamn fault.
Eat shit, this is not my fault.
I tell el jefe that you and la gringa didn't get the precursos to me in time to cook all this coke. He'll blame you sure as hell as he blames me. Then el pozolero makes 2 pots of human soup.
You're a real asshole, man. I ought to have one of these sicarios break your kneecaps.
You know I'm right. And you know I'm more scared of El Sueño than I am of you. So help me out.
We've lost 2 convoys so far this month. How the fuck do you expect me to work without chemical precursors?
What do you expect me to do?
How about some extra fucking security on the trucks? Is that so much to ask?
The men don't like to be around the chemicals. Not since the accident last year. They still tell stories about what happened to the poor bastards caught in the spill.
Look, if the rebels keep hitting our convoys, my output is going to drop. If my output drops, La Gringa is sure as shit gonna want to know why. What do you want me to tell her?
All right. I'll see what I can do.
Marcus Jensen, PhD in biochemistry and molecular biology. First interview. Come in. Good morning. Dr. Katrine Svensson.
Marcus Jensen. Good to finally meet you.
Take a seat. How was your flight?
Bumpy. Especially the second leg. Didn't think they could fit so many people in such a small cabin.
It's fine when it's just people. You've got a pretty impressive track record, Mr. Jensen.
Thank you.
Berkeley, Oxford, Caltech. So many honors on this resume, I feel like I'm reading a Latin dictionary. Guess that settles the issue of your, theoretical skills. Though, to be honest, a lot of what we do here appeals to a different set of skills.
Yeah, about that. The headhunter was pretty vague on this topic. What is it exactly that your company does?
We'll get to that. For now, there's one question I would like to ask you, Mr. Jensen. An important question.
Go ahead.
Are you willing to set aside some of your moral principles for the sake of a greater scientific purpose?
Come on, Jorge, be reasonable. My father's been doing business with you for the last, 15 years?
20 years. When your father, Senor Vallardo, first invested in the Via Vigas extraction.
20 years. And now I hear you can't make it to Agua Verde for a couple of days. What is this bullshit?
Oye, Carcita, everybody knows what goes on in Agua Verde. The cartel, the parties, the girls, the cocaine. You have to understand my position. I am the refinery chief here in Libertad. I have to keep up appearances.
Jorge, I had such high hopes for you. You were supposed to be the key speaker for our conference, Best Places to Work in Bolivia. I even had the presidential suite booked for you in Paraíso, Agua Verde. Of course, it would have come with all the perks included if you know what I mean.
Carcita, I don't know what to say. I don't think I can...
You know what? Why don't we ask El Sueño what he thinks? I'm sure he could give you plenty of convincing reasons why you should really come.
Espere, wait. Ese cuate, Carcita. Let me check my agenda. I think I forgot to update the some meeting that got cancelled. I might have time to visit after all.
Might?
I will have time. I will be there. You can count on me.
Excellent. See you there then, Jorge. And take care of yourself in the meantime, yes?
Ruperta Faro, Madre Coca. They used to grow coffee here in Tabacal, but the cartels made them switch to coca. A lot more profitable. If you ever tried to snort Italian roast, you'll know why. Spoiler alert, this is frowned upon at coffee shops. Don't ask. Madre Coca grew up as a raspachina, a coca picker. When it comes to illegal coca farms, there's no such thing as child labor laws. It was brutal, backbreaking work. She had a son whom she'd always dreamed would move on to better things. He didn't. Young Pablo died from a coke overdose. How does a mother who grows coca deal with growing the product that killed her own kid? Most people see the error of their ways and move on to something else. For Madre Coca, it was the exact opposite. She took out her anger on the people of Tabacal, forcing them to endure the same hardships she had experienced. And like any tyrant, she expanded her empire. This led to resentment from the people, which she dealt with. With the backing of El Yayo, she became a very powerful woman in the cartel. A new twist on an age-old lesson. You don't fuck with Mama.
Pero sueño, lo sabes tú. In the end, compa, only blood ties matter. It's only the blood. These people, they're not even Mexicanos.
Mudo, hermanito. You're missing the point here. You're being too sentimental. We're running a business. A fucking billion-dollar vertically integrated multinational organization. And for a business this scale to thrive, you need the best people running your operations. El Yayo and Madre Coca are the best at growing coca.
But Puchones, making them bosses? Sueño, this is crazy. We'll never be able to trust them.
Oh, yes, we will.
How?
We get them to sign the safest, most binding work contract ever invented.
What? What are you talking about? What contract?
Plata o plomo. Take the money or take the bullets.
I don't know. I don't like this, El Sueño.
Tranquilo, hermano. You need to widen your perspective. It's all business. Just business.
Madre Coca, can you turn down your television?
Ya es hora de mi novela. Most of these telenovelas are estúpido. Pero this one about the chocolate factory, this one I like.
Listo. Madre Coca, in Tabacal, the gossip is that the Cocalero Union is guaranteeing a better price than other crops. The coffee is nearly 20 bolivianos a kilo. My son tells me that Santa Blanca will never buy coca for over 17.
Viejo, I said the farmers will make more guita. You know as well as I that you can only harvest coffee once a year. As cocaleros, these people will harvest 3 times a year. That is 3 times the harvest for a plant that is easier to grow, for a crop that the farmer know will be sold.
Está bien. You are bending the truth, mamita. Pero you can depend on people to be lazy more than you can depend on them to be greedy. What if they don't buy the carrot?
Well then, you know me. I have a pretty big stick.
burned out car up ahead. Bodies inside.
The cartel's sending a message to the locals.
You all know El Yayo, highest-ranking Bolivian in the Santa Blanca cartel, and their head of cocaine production. But you may not know his grandson, Gonzalo Llana, aka El Emisario, the emissary. Yayo taught Emisario everything he knows. How to produce the best polvo in all of South America, how to maintain relationships with the local Bolivians, and most importantly, how to serve your Santa Blanca masters. Emisario looks up to Yayo, would do anything to honor him, to make him proud. Which is exactly what makes El Emisario the perfect target. His greatest fear is shaming his grandfather. If we hit his coke operation in Okoro, he'll come running back to fix things. That's when we grab him. With a little luck, he'll give us everything we need to know about dear old Grandpa.
Then you pour more ammonia. Mira, que es como la leche. When we drain out the gasoline, it will have such a beautiful color. Muy linda.
This is pretty easy.
See, when I was young, 12, 13, I had this friend. His father was a bandido. He showed me how to make homemade coca paste. But it was not like this so much. Sometimes you make your own paste, you lose money.
That's no good. How do you lose money?
It costs money for the chemicals to make the paste. It takes time. But here, we get a salary. And with La Gringa's process, you get much more paste than if I make it in an oil drum, like in the old days. I often wonder if people will still use El Polvo Blanco if they knew what we put in it.
Mi primo already breathes in gasoline to get high. He would not mind we put gasoline in cocaine.
Katrine, I come all the way out here to see you, and it's like talking to a wet sock. Honestly. And look at your hair. Is fighting the good fight taking its toll?
Don't they report on South America in Germany? Hands over Bolivia is gone. It was a CIA front. I was a damn puppet for those American spies. And when I found out, it was too late.
That's terrible. But why are you still here? Why don't you go home? Or come with me to Germany. Stay with me and Heinrich till you get something new.
I have something new. Here, in Bolivia. Look, sometimes I get to treat the sick, but it's mostly research. Biochemistry. And you won't like it.
There's only one employer out here that can afford you.
Yes. The Santa Blanca cartel. The Sicarios even have a nickname for me. La Gringa.
And biochemistry? As in cocaine? You can't, Katrine. You must leave.
I don't think they would let me leave anymore. There's no bars, but I'm in a prison.
Katrine Svensson, La Gringa. How does a PhD from MIT end up as the chief chemist of the Santa Blanca cartel? Like all cynics, she started out as an idealist. La Gringa came to Bolivia to help the people. The poor, the downtrodden, the sick. She loved them, and they loved her. Working for an NGO called Hands Over Bolivia, she did research to develop a new vaccine for yellow fever. It was meant to be produced easier and cheaper, making it more readily available to more people in a shorter time. Then, disaster struck. She lost all her funding and was vilified by the scientific community. Of course, La Gringa hadn't been involved in the scandal, but it didn't matter. She lost everything. After that, well, you know what? Thanks to the NSA's prison program, we can hear it in her own words.
How much did you earn, Sonrisa?
40,000 a year?
I spend more on my dogs. I will pay you 100 times what you were making.
To do what?
Quality control. Working from Okoro, you can develop the best, most potent, most pure cocaine in the world.
I came here to help people survive.
La Gringa, my darling. How do you think the people survive?
The Santa Blanca cocaine production pipeline, led by El Yayo. It all starts in the fields with the harvesting of the Erythroxylum novogranitens, aka the coca plant. Of the 200 known species of Erythroxylum, only 2 contain usable levels of cocaine, so you have to know what you're planting. El Yayo knows what he's planting. First, his people strip the leaves off the plant. Then the leaves are dried, finally chopped, and sent to the lab. That's where this chick comes in. La Gringa here is an American chemist with Mensa-level IQ and sub-zero morality numbers. They take the chopped leaves, dust them with lime. That's right, lime. Then pour diesel fuel all over them. Stir for 3 days. You can use a washing machine or a cement mixer, but Santa Blanca does it by hand. Then, they mix all this shit with sulfuric acid, a dash of caustic soda, and bam, cocaine paste. You dry it, chuck in more acid, and pretty soon, you got powder. But now you have to purify it because no one wants to snort yellow powder. It's gross. So, a little more acid, some potassium permanganate, pyrolusite. Hungry yet? Filter it with ammonia, and beautiful, pure white cocaine. But everyone knows how to do this, right? What makes Santa Blanca so special? What makes SB a brand? Because they figured it out. How to mass produce a custom product. Plant genetics, logistics, mechanization, state-of-the-art labs, reduction of redundancies, quality control, purity of chemicals, and, of course, the secret sauce. They're geniuses. They've taken coke production into the 22nd century. What Henry Ford did for the factory, they've done for the lab. They're innovators, they're pioneers, they're SB.
The great writer Balzac once said, "To have a family is to become hostage to fortune." I told El Yayo we had something in common. We're both too old to start over. Me to start a new organization. You to start a new family.
Innovation versus experience. Technology versus tradition. Youth versus age. La Gringa versus El Yayo.
I had been hoping they would complement each other, but they could not get along. They were too different.
I have been producing cocaine this way for years.
That's exactly the problem.
Our product was so good, the demand was only increasing. We couldn't keep up. I don't care how you do it. Science, tradition, or voodoo. Just make more. Or I'll find someone that can.
I had told El Yayo and La Gringa to step up production. They claimed they were doing their best. Obviously, I had not been clear enough. This man's life was in your hands, and this is what you've done with it.
I can't do this anymore. Please, just let me go home. I swear to God, I won't tell anyone what happened here.
Sometimes I don't think you take me seriously. Next time I will show you how serious I can be. Desperate people make desperate mistakes, and I had made El Yayo and La Gringa desperate. I pressured them too much. But I had no choice. The attacks on our production were increasing. It was hurting our supply chain. If something was not done, we would lose our market share. So I pushed them to produce more coke. They couldn't do it, so they started to cut it, dilute it, lower the quality to increase the quantity. An understandable mistake, but a mistake nevertheless. I had spent years branding Santa Blanca, a quality product, the best in the world. A primo price for a primo product. Problem was, the product wasn't primo anymore. And someone had to pay for that. El Yayo was born amidst the Bolivian coca. His mother carried him on her back until he was old enough to go to work for himself. For decades, Yayo picked the leaves, fingers blistered, back aching, feet bleeding. But never, in all that time, did he once extract the alkaloids to make cocaine. To Yayo, the coca leaf was an ancient tradition, going back 8,000 years. A medicine, a culture, una planta sagrada. Of course, the Americanos had a different opinion. They called it Plan Dignidad, the dignity plan. Although Yayo was no more than a farmer, un cocalero, his world was left in ruins. With no other means available, he was forced to do the one thing that he vowed never to do. He was forced to produce cocaine. In the end, the Americans' efforts to stop cocaine production created one of the greatest cocaine producers to ever live. You cannot feed the hungry without food. You cannot heal the sick without medicine. And you cannot satisfy demand without a product. With the cocaine production in shambles, our market share was shrinking more and more every day. We increased prices, but it was a temporary solution. We would have to import from Peru and Colombia, invest heavier in meth and MDMA, a very costly and time-consuming endeavor. It would take years to rebuild. I had no choice. If workers were left unpaid for too long, there was no telling what they would resort to. But the biggest loser in all this was the people of Bolivia. Out of work with no means to support their families. All they could do was wait. Wait and see who was next to take possession of the coca fields.
If you don't listen to Narco Corridos, you're a pussy and you're off my Christmas list. Narco Corrido is like gangster rap for the 21st century. The talk is tough, the music is banned, and the swagger is the show. This sexy motherfucker is El Cheeto, by far the #1 Corrido performer in the world. His record sales rake in millions of dollars every year. Were he not so close to Santa Blanca, I'd be having his babies. As it stands, this suave slab of macho writes and sings the corridos that tell the tales of Santa Blanca's buchones from Bolivia to Culiacan. El Cheeto, real name Marcelo Rios, is not a bad guy. He just sings like one. He's also in tight with all the villains in Santa Blanca. The cartel's Church of Santa Muerte is sponsoring a kind of publicity tour and a concert in Malca. El Cheeto's supposed to boost morale and spread Santa Blanca's good word. This is an opportunity to nab an outsider with an inside track who's got everything to lose. We get El Cheeto to roll on his buddies. Prosecutors in nearly every country of the Western Hemisphere will sing our praises. Snatch and grab, but be gentle. And please, don't touch that handsome face.
Cardenal, I'm finding that many locals in my province are indifferent to the word of Santísima Muerte. They already have gods of their own. Bolivian gods, Pachamama, El Tío.
You are new to the priesthood, but surely as a layman you have witnessed the power of the Bony Lady.
Claro, pero how do I convince Bolivians to trust in her?
You don't try to convince others. We are not Mormons. We don't print little magazines like the Watchtower. You only need one person healed, one fortune made. As long as that success is thanks to Santa Muerte, the congregation will come to you. Our jobs as her priests is to ensure that people hear about these miracles, small as they may seem. Then, the people will come to Santísima Muerte, and your congregation will grow.
Are you calling me?
People call me El Cardenal.
What kind of name is that? You sing like religious songs or some shit?
No, escúchame, El Cheeto. I am the religious advisor for El Sueño and the Santa Blanca cartel. For heaven's sake, I baptize you in the sacrament of Santa Blanca.
I kinda remember that.
Good. I am contacting you so that we can coordinate your message when you come to Bolivia.
Hey, wey. Respeto a la Santa Muerte and everything, but I don't got no message. I just want people to have fun. You know what I mean?
You are coming to Bolivia to raise the morale of the men in the ranks. And part of that job includes spreading faith in Santa Muerte.
I ain't gonna give no speeches. But, I can change the playlist a little bit. Play mostly corridos and mention Santa Muerte.
That is all I ask.
Javier Coronel Gallardo, which is a mouthful, so let's call him what his rich friends do. Carcita. He's a meppy, a Mexican preppy, or a prepsican if you prefer. His main achievement in life was to win the sperm lottery. Gonzalo Coronel Bayardo, telecom billionaire, is his daddy. Gave Sonny everything. Money, cars, education, BA from Harvard, MBA Wharton Business, DPhil from Oxford to acquire a little sophistication and some good English clothes. Now he gets his own resort to run. This used to be a national park, but Santa Blanca turned it into an exclusive resort. It's here that Carcita does what Carcita does best, making connections between Santa Blanca and anyone that's anyone. CEOs, politicians, judges, socialites, even celebrities. You know who that is, right? Hint. She just went to rehab for saying something racist. What Carcita offers the cartel is more than just business deals. It's a level of corruption we've never seen before. And it's on you to stop it. We cut the connections, we stop the corruption.
Jefe?
You are hosting some political contacts at the casino next month. I want an event, Carcita. Politicians are natural beggars of glamour. The casino must be gilded with celebrity. Who can you bring in?
I have a few ideas. There is, Marco Cruz.
That gordo actor? He wants to be a politician himself. You are thinking that you will buy celebrities, but you must attract them.
Sí, of course. Bebé Herrera. She's a Colombiana telenovela star.
Star of El Rostro de la Patinadora. I am familiar with this novela. Ella es muy bonita. You know her?
She's a poker player. If we host a small tournament, perhaps she can bring a few of her actor and musician friends.
Bueno, make it happen. She and her friends do not need to personally entertain any of my contacts. Comprende?
Sí, absolutely, Jefe.
Pero Carcita, Agua Verde is a national park, one of Bolivia's natural treasures. To put a resort on it,
Minister, the rest of the world should share in this treasure. Turning Agua Verde into a resort will bring tourists who will bring cash into the country. The casino alone will...
The casino? Even if I approve the resort without the approval of the Aymara chiefs, the Gambling Control Authority will never go for a casino with such questionable financing.
They've already promised approval.
¿Qué? I don't believe it. How is such a thing possible?
Well, the president of the Gambling Control Authority understands that a lot of money goes through a casino. If some of that money happens to get lost, he wants to make sure that it falls into the right hands. Don't you, senor?
Ah, okay, of course. How much money are we talking about?
Well, I'd say $50,000 a month to start.
That sounds reasonable, Carcita. Have your lawyer send me the construction permits. I will handle everything.
Perfecto. You and your family have a good evening.
In local news, a construction vehicle has run over Aymara protesters in Agua Verde, resulting in 25 dead and dozens more injured. Since April, the Aymara have been staging marches of resistance, blocking roads in an attempt to prevent construction crews from driving to the construction site of Paraíso Agua Verde, resort and casino. Early this morning, an earth-moving dump truck broke through the protesters, resulting in the deaths. The approved site sits on what has long been considered sacred land. Environmental groups have also expressed concern that pollution from the resort will damage the ecosystem of the lake. No charges have been filed for the deaths, and there is no word yet from Aymara representatives if the protests will continue. Military police from Unidad have moved into the area to ensure order. In international news, Queen Brita of Sweden has given birth to a baby girl.
DJ Perico, the parrot. His dream in life was to be a mixtape DJ, which essentially means yelling over someone else's song and then charging people for it.
DJ Perico!
Fortunately for the music industry, life got in the way. Corner boy at age 13, crack charge at 14, attempted murder at 15. Rather than do a bid in a gladiator academy, he fled to Mexico. He had a cousin in Santa Blanca, got a job as a sicario, a hitman. However, if Santa Blanca had run his sheet, they'd have seen he'd only attempted murder. Another way of saying he was a fuck-up. Like he missed 2 guys in the front seat of a Wrangler. I mean, how hard is that? It was only a matter of time before he annoyed the shit out of every single member of the cartel and got his corpse thrown back across the border, except El Sueño took a liking to him. Perico amused him. He can't shoot a gun, but he can shoot his mouth off. So...
Good morning, Bolivia!
El Sueño found a role for him. Pirate radio, propaganda. Spread the good word about the coming of Santa Blanca.
It's a beautiful day for cocaine. But hey, what day isn't? A special shout out to my boys in Fucara province, building El Sueño's final finca. But let's not be in too big a hurry, okay, boys?
DJ Perico is El Sueño's pet. Let's give him something new to parrot.
In the old days, the miners made sure to leave offerings to El Tío down in the tunnels. Little things, some tobacco or a handful of coca leaves. Sometimes, if the men knew they would be working a shaft that had an evil reputation, they would pour out cups of Singani over the stones, so El Tío would leave them be. The year I turned 25, I was working in a mine near Huayna. It was old and deep. The timbers were rotted and its veins were nearly dry. Times were hard. There was so little coming out of the mine that people barely had enough to eat, much less feed El Tío. We had been working in the deepest parts of the mine for many weeks, and the tunnels had begun to shift and ground. I knew that El Tío was hungry, and that something bad was going to happen. So my brother and I went into the hills one night and killed a llama. That morning, before I went down into the mine, I painted its blood on the entrance as an offering to El Tío. The cave-in happened later that day. 1 minute I was working, the next, I was alone in the darkness. I could hear my friends moaning and crying out in pain, cut off by tons of earth and rock. One by one, my friends fell silent. I sat in the dark and listened to them die. And then it was my turn. A smell came into the air. It was foul, like burnt hair and brimstone. And then, El Tío was there. I couldn't see him, but I could feel him there in that tiny space, right in front of me. I was shaking like a leaf. I held up my hand. To this day, I don't know why, and I heard a sound, a soft, snuffling sound like an animal will make. I could feel hot breath on my palm as the devil bent close to me and smelled the llama blood staining my hand. The next thing I knew, I was in the hospital at La Paz. They told me I had been down in the mine for 15 days. No one could understand why I was still alive. But I knew. That is why I believe in El Tío de la Mina, and why I'll never go down into his realm ever again.
De verdad, Perico. He loves you more than his puppy. He's even talking about joining Santa Blanca. He's only 10 years old, but he's big already, like his father was.
Gracias, mamacita. It fills me with joy. Let me see if I can talk to El Sueño about it. He always has use for young soldiers, especially those with room inside their stomach. Vale, vatos, that's it for today. Perico off the air. Tune in later for more of your favorite DJ this side of the Altiplano. Damn right I'll talk to Sueño. Like that cabrón listens to me anymore. Pinche puta. I'm baller status, way. Yeah, I should be snorting yayo on some thick double D's in the back of a limo in fucking Hollywood right now. Not haggling for a bunch of whiny-ass chochas who think they're hardcore because they got SP tattoos on their neck. Fucking disrespecting me? Wasting my talent? You know, fuck them! Fuck el sueño! Fuck el muro! Fuck la plaga! Fuck! Perico, sueño on the phone for you. Yeah, I'll be there in a second.
In local news, Tinku fighter Raul Vargas is moving to the United States of America to start a new career as a mixed martial artist in the new Global Fighting League. Vargas, the undefeated Tinku champion of Charamoco, is well known in Pucara as El Jaguar del Rey. He earned a name during his first Tinku battle by strapping shards of broken glass to his fists. These jaguar claws frightened so many opponents that Vargas won many of his first battles after landing only one or two powerful blows. Now Vargas, who boasts more than 200 victories as a Tinku fighter, will match his strength and skill against the best fighters in the world of mixed martial arts. No word on whether or not he'll be allowed to use his trademark claws in the arena.
¿Qué pasa, banda? Aquí DJ Perico with great news. Today, we have a very special guest in the studio. You're not gonna believe this. El Sueño himself.
¿Qué tal, Perico? Glad to be here today.
Buen día, El Sueño. Welcome to my show. It's truly an honor. So, I heard you're building something down here in Pucara.
Indeed, I am.
Yeah, I have a friend in Todos Santos, works at a train station there. He's ugly as fuck, so he never gets any girl, but the other day he met this chick who showed him some blueprints. Says it's huge, like a temple or something.
A mausoleum.
A what? I'm not exactly up to date on my French here, so can you explain what this means?
Mausoleum. It's a Greek word. Describes a magnificent stone building where kings and emperors are buried.
A tomb?
It's much more than that. It's a token of our accomplishments here in Bolivia. A shrine which will remind everyone that a great man, with the help of a great people, can achieve anything, can make history. Just like Santa Blanca is doing here in Bolivia. Esto es para el pueblo.
La Santera, the Saint Maker, es una chica loca. This chick is batshit crazy. She used to be a good girl, devout Catholic, until she found Santa Muerte, the skinny lady, and went all in. If El Cardenal is the light, charitable side of Santa Muerte, La Santera is the dark hedonism. The cartel's twisted, fucked up version of the saint. El Sueño knows a chart topper when he sees one, so he put her on his label. Preach, mommy. What's good for Santa Muerte is good for Santa Blanca. He even built her a sanctuary deep in the heart of Espiritu Santo. La Santera's role in the cartel? Ensure loyalty. The more cartel members prove themselves, the more access they get to Santa Muerte. You want Santa Muerte to protect you from bullets? Smuggle 200 kilos. You want to be blessed with eternal wealth? Recruit 5 of your cousins to Santa Blanca. You want to go to heaven? Kill 10 of our enemies. It's like a ranking system for scumbags. The more you do for your cartel, the more the Saint of Holy Death will do for you. A true reward for true believers. And trust me on this, La Santera is a true believer.
May Holy Santa Muerte bless us. Brothers and sisters, we are all gathered here because of gratitude, thankfulness. Those of us assembled here are thankful for the good deeds that La Santa Muerte has bestowed upon us. That woman there, La Dama Poderosa, saved her husband from illness. That man, he was spared by La DEA because of the skinny lady's intercession. Him there, he passed through gunfire unscathed because of his faith in La Santa Muerte. And faith, brothers and sisters,
faith is all that she asks of you. But faith not shown is only an indulgent desire. If you pray to Santa Muerte without giving her an offering, you are expressing a selfish whim, simply indulging in greed. And as Santo Tomás de Aquino wrote, greed is a mortal sin because greed leads you to sacrifice the eternal for the sake of something temporary. This week, as we pass the collection plate, I want each of you to think about how you display your faith in La Santa Muerte. I want you to let go of your greed. I want you to give your offerings in gratitude. Amen.
And you've been on the Santa Muerte pilgrimage through Espiritu Santo for how long now? 7 days out of 10. Perico, the trip would blow your mind. So many gold statues weigh. Now how did a sicario like you get time away from pulling the trigger away? Well, La Santera gives us time to take the pilgrimage. And, you know, I told her my mama was sick, and she told me what kind of offerings to make along the way. Sorry about your mom's way. What's wrong with her? She has the clench. It's like really bad. Most of the offerings are tobacco and coca leaves. Sometimes a little shot of gin or something. But at one statue near the sanctuary, La Santera said to leave a dead bat. Far out, way. Animal sacrifice is a little creepy for me, but whatever you think is cool.
Santera! Ven aquí, Santera!
Cardenal?
What do I hear about these Santeria rituals? About human sacrifice? Santera, you are going too far.
Faith does not work by half measures, Padre. If you truly venerate Santa Muerte, you will join us.
This is not how one venerates Santa Muerte. You will stop these rituals.
Or what? No one misses these people, Padre. No one missed them before, no one misses them now. I have given these people a purpose and meaning. What better way to honor Santa Muerte?
Since his rise to power, El Sueño has been responsible for more than 7,000 murders, 12,000 kidnappings, and 17,000 disappearances. So then how the fuck is he one of the most loved people on the goddamn internet? I mean, this piece of shit has more likes than the World Cancer Society. How does that even happen? Well, one reason would be Ramon Feliz, Santa Blanca narco blogger. Feliz wasn't always like this. He used to be a real journalist. Working the crime beat for a Mexican newspaper, he wrote about the cartels. Until the cartels started targeting journalists. Forced to choose between reporting the news and their employees, the newspapers made a hard decision. They stopped reporting on the cartels. So Ramon Feliz went underground. With anonymity on his side, he started a blog, and he went after Santa Blanca. Hard. Maybe too hard. Sueño hired hackers from a number of top universities and had them track down Feliz. Things only went downhill from there. Nowadays, Ramon Feliz no longer writes about Santa Blanca. Ramon Feliz writes for Santa Blanca. Influence, the fine art of persuasion, the winning of hearts and minds, the grabbing of the short hairs and holding on. Santa Blanca, smart fucks that they are, figured it out. It's not enough to control the events. You have to control the story. El Cardinal, a true believer in Santa Muerte. If you're trying to influence people, it's an advantage to have God on your side. In this case, the skinny lady, the White Sister, the saint of holy death, Santa Muerte herself. Because, let's be honest, there's some things even God won't do for you. El Cardinal, he's on the radio, TV, live appearances, concerts. If El Sueño controls the population through bribery and fear, El Cardinal holds them with something much more powerful. Their souls. How would you like to avoid eternal damnation? Well, luckily, all you have to do is support the Santa Blanca cartel, and you will. On the other end of the public-private scale is Ramon Feliz, the narco-blogger. Don't let the quiet demeanor fool you. He's the SB's social media maven. He's their digital game. A tragic case, Feliz. He used to be a serious journalist, trying to expose the cartel for the psychotic sociopathic dirtbags that they are. But they turned him. Now, he cranks out SB propaganda like his life depended on it. For his blog, for Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. If you're not into El Cardinal, you're into Feliz. They get you both ways. These two are the yin and yang of the Santa Blanca influence machine. The sacred and the profane, the public and the private, the heart and the mind.
All priests like to hear themselves talk, don't they? But as the saying goes, talk is cheap. El Cardinal knew this was true. His people were barely surviving, and he wanted to do something. He had to help those in need. He didn't care where the support came from. But there were others who thought he was making deals with the devil. He was cast out. He lost his family, his friends. Lo perdió todo. When I found him, he was a broken man. I brought him into Santa Blanca to preach the truth of the new faith.
For we are wed to death from the moment we are born, and we must come to love her more than we love our lives. Sacred and blessed death, the goddess of darkness can free you from sickness and evil. Do you offer your heart and soul over to her?
He baptized me in the true faith. He is my counselor, my conscience. I do. The only person I truly trust with my soul. A conscience is a dangerous thing, mostly to the person who has one. Ramon Feliz couldn't live with himself. He was moments from taking the coward's way out when... It seems that in spite of his recent allegiance to us, Feliz still had one source who was willing to bring him information. Un chivato. Information I was now aware of, since I had people monitoring his every keystroke. It's a shame, really. If Ramon had known what was on its way, he would have gone through with the suicide. The image was broken. The dream was crumbling. My church was dying out. Many of my men were leaving me. The campesinos were no longer afraid to slander my name. Those who hated me said I did all of this out of pride. The mausoleum, the websites, the Bible. They said I did it out of vanity. But if they could have seen it, if everyone could have seen my dream, they would have understood. I did it for them, for the sicarios, the farmers, the miners. I did it so they would dream of a better life for themselves, so they could envision how great they could become, how great they could make Santa Blanca, and how great Santa Blanca could make them. But when you get a glimpse behind the curtain, then you realize that the magic is nothing more than smoke and mirrors. And the glory which you once aspired to is nothing but a sham.
Shame. The whole world condemns you.
Someone had leaked Ramon's story. Even without proof, the damage was done. Help me, Padre.
You are beyond help. I can do nothing for you.
Listen to me, old man. Do you believe that I could hurt a child? That I would risk losing my life's work for a small amount of money? Do you truly believe that?
No, I don't.
Good. Then you will hold a mass. Invite the most powerful and influential people in Bolivia. Defend me against these lies. Swear on the Santísima Muerte that what they say is false.
You are not coming?
No. I have business to take care of. Forgive me, Padre, for I have sinned.
Speak the secrets of your soul, my son.
Padre, I have lost the love of the people. I thought it was enough that they feared me. I was wrong. Me equivoqué. To win, I needed their love.
Why don't they love you, hijo? Because you have not made them love you. You must hold charity events.
Gracias, patrón.
Mother's Day and the Day of the Children. You must provide hospitals, schools, everything the people need. Es tu gente. Because the Bible tells us,
by his works shall you know him. Ramon Feliz, blogger, academic, internet journalist. All he ever wanted was to tell the truth. But whose truth? His? Feliz thought that there is only one truth, but we know that truth, like history, is written by the winner. His blog slandered me day after day after day. Por supuesto, something had to be done. So I hired hackers to track him down and offered him a job. I explained that telling my truth was much more preferable. My truth kept him alive. All Ramon Feliz ever wanted was to tell the truth. Now he had more truth than he could bear.
Well, Happy New Year, Karen. I'm guessing you had a Bolivian Christmas too? You know, Sueño doesn't really get into the holiday spirit the way most people do. Another day, I was driving him around Pucara, and he had me stop on this hill out of the middle of buttfuck nowhere. And he shows me these blueprints for his own mausoleum. I don't know, I guess he's planning his fucking legacy or something. But anyway, the mausoleum, it's fucking epic. And I'm like, Efe, that tomb is fit for a goddamn king. And Sueño turns that gigantic fucking head to me and says, completely straight-faced, cold as stone, Ricky, that's a tomb for a god. Can you believe the megalomania on this guy? And he just wears it around like a hat. Like it's no big deal that he thinks he's a fucking divine being walking among the goddamn mortals. I don't know, kid. My mother always told me I should be more confident. Maybe I should take a page from the big dog's book, grow an ego the size of Russia. I bet you'd like that. I'll roll up into an RP. I don't know, have you rearrange the furniture to fit my divine design. But the mausoleum is gonna be a big construction project, and fucking artisans and craftsmen and, you know, guys who know stuff are making all this expensive replica shit. Or maybe he's gonna start importing art. Anyway, stick a pin in it. I'm just saying, this big project in Pucara is something you want to have on your radar. Karen, I went on a pickup to Barvechos and finally met the notorious Nidia Flores. Jesus Christ, she is as sexy a woman as ever walked God's earth. She reminded me of my brother's old girlfriend, Marisol, who was like, when I was 16, she was, oh man, she was even hotter than any girl I could think up in my teenage hormonal brain. And it's funny though, because to Sueño, this guy, he talks about Nidia like she's some saint in his whole unholy pantheon, right? But Nidia, I don't know if it's because she's afraid or because she really wants to please El Jefe. She's like so afraid of screwing up, she double checks fucking everything. I was just there to pick up some cash, like, payroll for the Sicarios. Nidia, she ran those bills through the counting machines fucking 5 goddamn times. Some of the Sicarios I rode back with, they were gossiping about El Boquita being the father of Nidia's kid, Valeria, which I didn't know. Did you know? I'm not gonna tell you all the crude jokes these guys were saying. These cartel gunslingers, they are not gentlemen, know what I mean? Real animals. But Nidia, whew, she must have been the drunkest girl on spring break to let fucking Boquita be her baby daddy. I don't really see that happening any other way. Karen, I saw your old pal, La Gringa. I guess you know her as Dr. Svensson. She has come a long way since your NGO went belly up. Now, CIA fronts used to be sexy. During the Cold War, the State Department used to send ballet companies into places like Italy and Japan. Places that weren't exactly enemies, but weren't quite allies. Ballet, man, like with ballerinas and those pointy shoes and everything. And if you'd done ballet instead of bringing biochemistry science types to Bolivia, we wouldn't be dealing with all these advances in cocaine technology. La Gringa told El Sueño she'd have a new state-of-the-art coke lab up and running.
We got a large cartel base. Keep your eyes open. I still don't see anybody.
What the fuck is going on?
Stay sharp. Watch for an ambush. Phone!
That's no IED. It's ringing too much.
Find it. There's the phone.
We gonna answer? I ain't picking that shit up.
Fucking hell.
Hola, caballeros. This is El Sueño. It is a pleasure to finally speak with you.
And here I thought we were gonna meet face to face. Don't tell me you're running late.
I apologize for the subterfuge, but people in our line of work, we must be cautious. But I am not the liar. There are no Sicarios in your area. No unidad. I only wish to talk.
Tell us where you are. Then we'll talk.
I am only attempting to end the bloodshed. There is no need for it. It's bad for my business. And it is bad for Bolivia. This country has been trying to get back on its feet for decades. Do not kick it back down.
Says the guy who turned this country into his own personal glory hole. You got something of value to say?
There are 4 cars in front of you. Consider them a signing bonus.
You better say that again. Must be something wrong with my hearing. You want to hire us?
You're 4 of the most dangerous people alive. Of course I want to hire you. Every day you risk your life for your country. And your government pays you casi nada. Put those skills to work for me, for Santa Blanca, and you will make more money than you can imagine.
Sorry, but we're gonna have to politely ask you to go fuck yourself. See, we only came to this meeting to kill you. The fact that you aren't here just means you get a little more time on this earth. But I figure you should start saying your goodbyes, because we're coming for you, and we're gonna burn you down.
So be it. I will enjoy watching you try.
I got eyes on a weapons case. Bowman, we're still breathing. Though Sueño made us a pretty lucrative job offer.
Job offer? Did you take it?
Benefits package wasn't great, and we told him we were gonna kill him, so you're stuck with us for now.
Fair enough. Be in touch.
Found a pretty nice rifle. I'll drive.
Hermano, amigo mío, carnal bien armado, te pusiste de mi lado a la hora de accionar. Saliste en mi defensa, iban a matarme.
We've received word from Pat Katari that one of his rebels might have discovered El Sueño's location. Talk to the rebel and find out what he knows.
they stopped giving you pain right at this moment, you'd still die.
Yeah. I figured as much.
We already know the truth, but I want to know why. Tell me, Ricky. Then I promise I will make the pain go away.
All right, Hefe. It's a little too late for my confession to do you any good, so I chalk this up to professional courtesy. It was me. I blew up the embassy in La Paz.
You blew up the U.S. Embassy in La Paz?
Yeah. And it wasn't some DEA or CIA false flag bullshit. The rebels helped with the op, but it was me.
Why bomb your own embassy?
I had no choice. My bosses were gonna pull me out of Bolivia. No one gave a shit about what you were doing down here. No one wanted to commit any resources to stopping you assholes. I needed them to pay attention. And for that, I needed theater. And people don't pay attention in the theater unless somebody dies.
Karen, we have got some fucked up friends. I just expected Pacatari to give me some chicken feet to give to El Sueño and El Moro. But that bastard discarded Amaru, the damn founder of their fucking rebellion. You know, I gotta say, it's a smart play. With Amaru gone, Pacatari has no rival for the leadership of the rebellion. Authority of their group was always split between the two of them, but now there's nobody left to disagree with Pac. Giving Amaru to the cartel, the old man dies a martyr, and Pacatari keeps his hands clean of any of the bloodstains. But yes, that bastard Pacatari is using me, but hey, Amaru was always the one who didn't want to work with us Yankees. Should be a hell of a lot easier getting the rebels to cooperate now. Just checking in, Karen. At an outpost in Venegas, we played host to a squad of Unidad troops who just tussled with some rebels. The rebels have been smart, picking off a couple of troops, making the soldiers chase them a little ways, then picking off a couple more. 2 or 3 rifles can do a lot of damage that way, especially in terrain as rough as this. Those hombres who don't get shot get beat up by the landscape. You know, Unidad might be looking rough right now, but I don't see these rebels reaching any kind of victory without a little bit of conventional warfare. Yeah, it'd be nice if the U.S. could step in and lend a hand, but these days it takes a lot for America to put boots on the ground. It'll take theater. Something really dramatic with an all-star cast. If something like that happened, something that could get the attention of the news crews, then you might see some American troops in Bolivia. Hey, kid. Intense day at the office. You know, the funny thing about Sueño, you always know where you stand with the son of a bitch. It's like hanging out with the biggest pit bull on earth. You look at him cockeyed, and he might tear your throat out, sure, but sure as shit won't hide his feelings. You know, this morning, I ran security when he was renegotiating production rates with that fucking wombat, El Emisario. So Emisario keeps making excuses about production volume and labor and whatever. Well, Sueño just sat and stared all dead-eyed at this asshole. And I swear to God, his fucking eyes were burning holes through the guy's shirt. And then, get this, Sueño pulls the biggest fucking Bowie knife out of his jacket. It was like a sword out of a goddamn Japanese cartoon. And he lays this hunk of pointy metal on the desk, real gentle like. Well, at that point, Emisario would have agreed to anything. Fuck, well, he did agree to everything.
And Sueño just picked up his knife, got up and left. Not saying a single fucking word. Now, he ain't the friend you introduced to your parents, but you gotta admire the guy. I mean, he must have balls the size of coconuts. Karen, put on your happy face. I'm getting word about some Argentine politicians who are gonna come visit the resort in Agua Verde. Your whole theory about corruption in Argentina has some legs. I don't think anything about the get-together is set in stone, but I'll probably get involved in the shindig at some point. Like usual, Carzita's doing all the work for now. God. That kid hasn't learned to keep his mouth shut, so I'm sure in a couple of days I'll be able to tell you which politicians are on the guest list. In the meantime, can you look into these rumors I'm hearing that the rebels in Bolivia might start working with the rebels in Peru? That's not the kind of shit I like to hear, man. We already know that the Peruvian rebels are trying to control the cocaine in their country. I mean, they advertise that shit. They post videos online about that shit. Are we trying to get rid of Santa Blanca just so Pat Guattari and his guys can take over? I mean, I know it's a possibility. I'm not a total idiot. But Pat Guattari needs to find other allies, man. Hey, Karen. So you know I spent every afternoon of the last week in these bottom-barrel strip clubs kissing up to El Boquita. Hey, some advice? When a strip club offers you a free steak lunch, don't order the food. I don't know, maybe Boquita was just testing how strong my stomach is, but somewhere between the dog meat steaks and the senior citizens gyrating on stage, my bona fides checked out. That's right, kid. I got access to El Sueño. Me and Boquita met him at the busiest coca market you ever saw. And man, when the hell did God start making Mexicans this fucking big, I swear? The guy walks sideways through garage doors. And now listen, I've only met him the once, but I think El Sueño likes me. I went with that cover legend thing. You know, the one where I'm a contractor hired to guard oil pipelines and, you know, try to make some more cheddar and shit. And he liked that I could talk the talk about Santa Muerte, too. And guess what? On the spot, the big dog asked me to be a Santa Blanca lieutenant. And get this, he doubled the pay I was asking for. So congratulations. We got our foot in the door. Karen, I got no word on Antonio's stash house or any of his transit points, and I would appreciate it if you would stop asking me to go over to Mojocoyo. Whenever I see that bastard, he makes me do a line with him, and by a line, I mean a pile of coke the size of a fucking French baguette. I'm too lightweight for that shit. If I keep this up, I'll be as paranoid and as sweaty as that motherfucker. You know, Antonio hits his wife in front of other people. The guy's basically out of control, but the blow has got him so goddamn paranoid, I don't think we'll ever find his stash house. At least not this way. If they stop cutting our fucking budgets and we can get the manpower, then I would say put surveillance on this guy. Electronics, satellite, the whole nine. Antonio is a hard target. Going at him all casual like he's just gonna open up and share his secrets with me? That's a fucking dead end.
Carzita, man.
Karen, we have... Hey, Karen, you tried these Bolivian buñuelos yet? They're not round like buñuelos mexicanos. Here, they poke these little holes in the middle of the dough. I guess they cook faster. I mean, I like them, but Boquita is fucking addicted to these things. There's this little bakery in Huertas that I swear to God, Boquita keeps this bakery in business on what he eats alone. You know, you'll think I'm crazy, but I really like this fat bastard. I mean, he really is a goddamn genius at smuggling. Anyway, give the border control agents a heads up. Boquita's getting a whole new fleet of stash cards from Huertas. He's like updating, upgrading. Unless they get a scanner, I don't know if there's any way the Border Control can find the coke without tearing apart every car that comes to the crossing. I'll see if I can ID any of the drivers for you, but chances are slim. Hey, kid. I got a lead on that air smuggling operation Boyer Boston Reed is running. Me and LaPlaga met up with him at one of those cartel cat houses in Kawani. God, that boy had 3 chicas in there with him. You believe that? I mean, what do you do with 3 chicas? I can figure out what you do with 2, but what do you do with the 3rd one? You think they take breaks? Like, one sits in the dugout while the other 2 play? Anyway, Boston was drunk as a skunk, and it was pretty easy to get him talking. Just like you figured, he's setting up temporary airstrips out in the salt flats. He kind of joked around about these guys he has working for him, guys that know the locations of all these airstrips and the times that they get set up. Boston kept talking about some dudes named the Guerrero brothers. Wouldn't really go into them, though. I'll drop you a line when I find out more.
Your father is well?
Sí, gracias. I wanted to ask about Sandoval.
Your father is well?
Sí, gracias. I wanted to ask about Sandoval.
I deal with him occasionally.
I've heard that lately he's been acting strangely. Drinking more short-tempered.
You know as well as I that working with El Sueño can be stressful.
Sandoval is becoming dangerous, violent. I thought that with your resources...
Gonzalo, it is not my place to be involved this way. If Sandoval becomes a problem, El Sueño will take care of it himself.
Hey, Karen. We've been moving a lot of blow out of Bolivia lately. I mean, the cartel sent about 5 tons to Sao Paulo last Tuesday. You know, my share? Something like $2 million. I'm getting really fucking rich here, and with our chain of command giving fuck all about my welfare, I have to keep reminding myself why the hell I'm doing this. When I was 16, my brother Pete OD'd on H. Choked to death on his own vomit. It's hard to explain the feeling to a person who doesn't have a big brother. It's like the ground beneath your feet just disappears. You keep falling and falling. I don't like the idea of that shit happening to someone else's kid brother, you know? Talk about motivation, huh? Like a wish on a star for all the good I'm doing. Or harm. Me, myself, Special fucking Agent Sandoval. I am personally responsible for putting tons and tons of cocaine on the street. Nobody bats an eyelash. It's crazy. I mean, imagine if a counterterrorism agent set off a bomb on American soil. Would anyone give a shit then? What keeps you going, Karen? You're not one of those pantsuit career types, so if you believe in fighting the good fight, you better find yourself some real motivation sometime soon. You gotta have some real fuel for this game. Hey, Karen. I know my station chief in Buenos Aires got the launch dates for those drug subs. You want to hear the stunning results of all our intelligence work? Squat. Nada. Nothing. My cartel contact in Florida tells me that the submersibles arrived with no problems except for a couple of dehydrated crewmen. Either that fat fuck the station chief sat on the info or the goddamn Brazilians let the boats through. You know, would it hurt for somebody in our government to remember that loyalty is a two-way street? I mean, fuck am I taking these risks for? And to top it off, I helped smuggle 200 fucking kilos of cocaine into the US of A, and I got paid very well for it. I mean, shit. Am I corrupt? Or am I just doing my fucking job?
The end user certificate will be good. The officials are in Sueño's pocket. My pocket.
You shitting me? You want me to put German rifles in the hands of Santa Blanca?
No, kid. I want you to put German rifles into my hands, so I can get some credit with Sueño.
And what? We track the serial numbers? Why would I do that gun-walking shit the ATF does? Giving the cartel guns does nothing for my problems.
But we're not giving guns to the cartel. I'll deliver the shipment to a depot that the rebels know, someplace weak that they can hit. Then the guns that Santa Blanca pays for become the rebels' guns.
Now that's a plan I can get behind. I've got 100 rifles in the warehouse of a shell company in Greece. I'll ship them legit to El Alto, but you'll have to figure out how to get the Connex south.
Hey, Karen. Just checking in. Not much new to tell this week, but that Santa Muerte priest guy, El Cardinal, oh, he's been real agitated lately. Smoking like a chimney, you know what I mean? I don't think he likes that La Santera lady very much. That's more than office politics. I mean, I do think she's trying to edge her way into his territory a little bit. Like, maybe she's writing more of that Santa Blanca Bible than El Cardinal wants, but honestly, I get the feeling that this guy is really creeped out by La Santera. I don't have to tell you. In this crowd, if you're creeping people out, then there has got to be something really wrong with you. I can look into it if you think I should, but I think it's more to do with the religion stuff, less to do with the drugs. What's up, Karen? Thanks for that intel on the rival cartel. A bit of misinformation, all that cloak and daggery stuff. It helped out with that Sicario El Jefe maybe interrogating. And I'd like to say that my afternoon with Yuri and Polito was the first time I'd ever enjoyed hurting a prisoner, but that'd be a lie. And I won't pretend I feel guilty about it, but it's not something I advertise. I feel like we can be the bad guy just as much as we can be the good guy, you know what I mean? Like these two lovebirds, for all that bad shit they're capable of, they are just as capable of doing good shit. They've got this reputation as total psychos, which, you know, they probably are, but most of their interrogation methods are textbook, straight out of the manual from the School of the Americas. The rest of it, all that kinky shit Polito says he got out of some sexy French novel called Story of the Eye. Look, I'm not defending them. I'm No, I'm just saying that they're not creative. And if they're not thinking up wacky pit and pendulum type stuff, and if they are able to be as in love as they are, well, they can't be like pure evil. Yuri and Polito just admit out loud in polite company that they enjoy hurting other people, which just makes them weird and psycho, but not evil, right? Hey, kid. Yesterday was the first time I saw El Way since he burned his fucking face off. You can put to bed any doubts you had that he'd be going back to work. The man is a machine. His face is all wrapped up in gauze like the goddamn mummy, and he's still giving me a 5-cent tour of the mines. You know, I like this guy. If he wasn't a criminal, he'd be a fucking TV movie of the week. His face burnt off, and just a couple of weeks later, he overcomes diversity to run a pyrolusite mine. We gotta keep an eye out, though. Always gunning for revenge on this Unidad officer he blames for blowing his face up. You know, at the mine, after getting a whole lot of sideways glances, I realized that all these miners knew who the hell I was. I've been around so long that all these Bolivians think of me as a cartel buchon. But you know me. I try to be a nice guy, a friendly guy. These miners, they were acting like I was walking around with a gun pointed at their heads. It's kind of weird when everybody you look at is scared shitless. Makes it harder to remember that I'm secretly the good guy.
Y'all are ghosts. Top-tier operators, the quiet professionals. Bravest of the brave, tip of the spear. All that in a bag of chips. But even a bad motherfucker needs help once in a while. Good thing for you. I'm a ghost too.
I am not a liar. I have killed thousands. I have fed more drug fiends than the top 3 pharmaceutical companies combined. I have stolen children from parents, wives from husbands, wiped out entire generations. But lying, that I have never done. The rest are offenses against humanity. Lying is an offense against yourself. I am the head of the Santa Blanca organization, which you call a cartel. I had a dream. I dreamed of a land where we could grow our own coca, produce our own cocaine, where we could run our business free from interference from the police, the government, the army, the Yankees. In my dream, a woman's voice asked me,
Sueño, mijo, what if you had your own country?
like Moses, I led my people to the promised land, Bolivia. We came here. We bought the coca fields. What we couldn't buy, we took. We bought the police, the military, the judges, the politicians. We were on the verge of becoming the government itself, on the razor's edge from fulfilling my dream. Of creating a narco-state. The nation of Santa Blanca.
Last week, a crude explosive detonated outside the U.S. Embassy in La Paz, Bolivia. 2 Marine Embassy guards were injured in the blast. 2 days later, a CIA asset in central Bolivia provided us with these images. Our analysts have identified the individual in the photo as DEA Special Agent Ricardo Ricky Sandoval, my friend. Sandoval had spent the last 6 years investigating the local cocaine industry. Our understanding is that Sandoval was the intended target of the bombing. What the embassy bomb did not accomplish was completed up close and personal. Sandoval was captured, tortured, and killed. Then his body was dumped. We have yet to recover it. Our target, the group responsible for the embassy bombing and the death of Special Agent Sandoval, is the drug trafficking organization commonly known as the Santa Blanca Cartel. Yesterday, they were just narcos. Today, they're narco-terrorists. Initially, the Bolivian government resisted the Mexican cartel. They formed Unidad, a Bolivian special forces unit. It didn't go as planned. Thousands of bodies later, politicians, police officers, and journalists have become an endangered species. The Bolivian government has imploded on itself. With no other options, the new president made a deal with Santa Blanca. You stop killing our people, we'll look the other way. Since then, Santa Blanca has turned Bolivia into the nexus of the South American drug trade. With their friends in Mexico, they also have a clear pipeline to the US and Canada. The only way to stop Santa Blanca for good is to completely dismantle them, piece by piece. The cartel is organized into 4 operations: production, smuggling, security, and influence. At the top of it all is El Jefe de los Jefes, boss of bosses, El Sueño.
So these two Marines board a flight to Houston.
Marines and planes. This ought to be good.
No sooner had they settled down into their seats than an Army corporal comes down the aisle and took the seat next to them. So the corporal settles in, pulls off his boots, and gets comfortable. Now the two Marines take one look at this guy and decide they're gonna have a little fun. After the plane's in the air, the Marine in the window seat turns to the corporal. Hey. Engaging tangos.
¡Mierda, chingada madre! ¡Hay un putero de soldados gringos acá! ¡Mátenlo!
Grenade! Watch out! Grenade, move, move, move!
Seguro ya viene un puto helicóptero con nosotros.
Chopper, hit the dirt.